it may sound ridiculous that something as common as menopause is something that people deny, but it's really the truth. You would be surprised at the number of women who are in complete denial about menopause, and you'd be even more surprised at their level of denial. They don't just deny that it happens. They deny that it will ever happen to them. And sometimes they even deny it while it's happening to them. I mean, they have their heads stuck in the sand. I give seminars and menopause seminars and videos on menopause. And when I'm giving a seminar or video live and people can see me and I'm talking about denial of menopause, I have a big old pile of sand and I have a Barbie doll. And I literally take the Barbie doll and I stuff her head way down in the sand because it's that visual of this is literally how it is for women. I mean, it's bad enough that society doesn't recognize the existence of menopause, but I'm talking about the very women themselves who are living through it, symptom by symptom, day in and day out. They are in denial. So despite the absolutely obvious nature of menopause, there's actually a great deal of denial about every single aspect of it. Women regard it as more of a curse than a bonus of longevity. And there's this avalanche of shame, dread, and fear that fuels their denial. I find it really shocking how much women will avoid doing anything that associates them with menopause. There's a book by Gail Sheehy, and she wrote a book called The Silent Passage, and it's all about menopause. And when she wrote her book years ago, in the 1980s, I think, she approached Oprah to talk about menopause on her show, and the producer of Oprah informed her that it was easier to get guests to talk about murdering their spouses than about their menopause. That tells you something about this topic and how much discomfort it creates. So we're going to talk about the denial of undenial menopause. One thing I've learned about the denial of menopause is that it's very commonly linked with desperation about information on menopause. And I've seen this all sorts of ways. One of the things that happens to me over and over again is that I'll go to some fancy shindig gathering where everybody's dressed to the nines. And, there's something about black tie events that make women really put themselves in the sexiest attire they can find. So no matter what her age, a woman will wear a revealing garment to a black tie event, with plunging necklines and really high heels, slit skirts, all kinds of things, missing backs to dresses. These women are beautiful, but I have this very analytic mind. I'm always looking at things and thinking about the significance of them. And I like to study social behavior. And when I see that in an older woman, it yells, look at my sexy dress, but it's usually camouflage for not feeling very sexy. And so inevitably what happens to me at these events, and I mean every single time I go to an event like this happens, I meet some new person. And when we start talking and getting to know each other and they ask me what I do, I'll say, well, I'm a menopause expert and I teach women about menopause. And oh my gosh, there's this kind of very subtle look. You see, they're trying to hide their reaction, but really they have this very subtle look that kind of says, oh my God, I've hit the jackpot. And she kind of purses her lips and but you can tell she's thinking, oh my God, this is great, but I've got to keep it to myself. I can't let anyone know how wonderfully happy I am about meeting this menopause expert. So in an act of desperation, she swiftly grabs my arm and looks at whoever's with us and says, we'll be right back. and pulls me off to the ladies' room. It's like I get kidnapped. And they always want me to quickly tell them what to do for menopause. And they say they're desperate. And menopause isn't the kind of thing that you can quickly tell someone about. It's not the kind of thing where there's a quick fix. So when I get kidnapped and taken to the ladies' room at a special event like this, I just set up a date at a later time and make it so that I have the opportunity to spend real quality time with the woman and teach her what she needs to know. Because, that's what we all deserve. That's what this whole education is about. But by the end of one of those evenings, I've got 5 or 6 tea dates. 5 or 6 dates with women who really, really are just interested in talking about menopause. So it's a topic that involves both desperation and denial. And that seems odd to me because you would think that if something as common as menopause is going to affect every woman on the planet, you'd think we'd get over it and we'd stop having this sense of denial keep us from getting the education we need or even talking about this.